Hi guys. I don't know if anybody's gonna tune in because I know it's long weekend, or it's at least long weekend in North America. But let's see. I'm around, so I don't mind joining, even if it's long weekend. I miss you guys when I miss the lives. I usually give everybody about a minute to join, and then we get going. Today I want to talk about paradigms. I only have a couple of questions from you guys, but I want to talk about paradigms. I did a video on it, I think it was 2 days ago, and more and more people are telling me, who've worked with me for a while now, they're telling me about uncovering things within their mind that when it clicks, it kind of makes sense. This is why they haven't yet gotten what they wanted. So it's important to talk about. It's important to talk about what they could be, where they stem from, the generalities of it. Obviously, everybody will have different paradigms, but the generalities of it are important. Before that, let's talk about the fact that today is new moon. New moon is the only practice we have in our group, practice in terms of ritual. I mean, so for new moon, to me, it was always a chance to reset and start a new cycle anew. This is the theme in my group. Whoever's working with a group knows, right? We have a meditation every new moon. If you're missing the other meditations that I post there during the month, I think I'm okay with it, because dream time is about exploring your subconscious. But if you miss the new moon meditation, I'm not okay with it, because it's a reset of the group. So remember, if you're part of my group, you have to do the work for others as well in the group. So please do the new moon meditation. I need over 50% participation in the group for the new moon meditation. And it kind of tells me how many people are doing it, right? Or how many people play the recording. So I hope I get at least half the people, the majority of people, so they can pull everybody else with them. That's you. I'm going to do that tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if anybody wants to join me at that time. But you can do it before sleep if that's not a convenient time for you. When is the new moon meditation? It's tonight. And for those who are strong and who want a real reset, so I use it as a reset of the body as well. So for those people, I also fast. So today I'm going to try to do a black fast. I usually have some juices, some vegetable juices. But today I'm just going to try to do coffee and water. Coffee I cannot do without, okay? So I just have my black coffee and water. So far, I'm not even hungry, and it's 12 o'clock. So if you can, please fast. If you can't fast, then please at least fast for the afternoon, for let's say from after lunch. Try to skip dinner, and when you do the meditation, just have a body that's already digested everything, and it's sort of able to focus its etheric energy on projecting and on doing the meditation. What's your favorite Kanye song? Closed on Sundays. I only fasted intermittent. I will stop eating at 5 p.m. Yeah, stop eating as soon as you can. Stop eating. Stop eating. Ideally, you'll do the full fast. Also, because we have the new moon meditation and it's such a reset, I won't do a dream time this week. I want you to just be in the energy of the new moon meditation. So we won't have another dream time meditation this Wednesday, but we do have a group manifestation this week. And this group manifestation is, I want you guys to manifest a moon into your life, not on the computer screen, not on TV, not on your phone, and not in the sky. Okay? I want you to manifest any shape moon, new moon, full moon, half moon, but it has to be in terms of a physical object in your life. I will put this on Facebook. The meditation, will it be on Facebook? It's already on Facebook. I posted it yesterday, I believe. Can somebody confirm? I don't know if I'm extremely sure I posted it on Facebook yesterday. And the only reason it wouldn't be there if it didn't go through. Hang on a second, I'm going to check now. Now you're like, because we have some people who are from New Zealand and that Australia, that part of the world. So their new moon and all of their dates are one day ahead. So I always try to accommodate everybody. Let's see, groups. Oh, yes. Okay, it's there. Okay, somebody confirmed. I don't have to. Okay, good. So group manifestation, please manifest a new moon. Now, only in September, because for me it's always kind of been September, like the start of a year, because of, you know, I've done so much schooling in my life, and it was always a time of let's start something new. So I also do a drinking water ritual. You're welcome to do it or not do it, but it's basically restating your intention after the meditation into a glass of clean water, and then putting the water outside so the new moon infuses it, and you drinking it the next day with keeping in mind that intention. Now I cover this glass with cellophane wrap just for hygiene, and then I do a small piercing in it. But I think that's just my OCD, you know, because it doesn't really matter if it's covered or not. And I do a little piercing in it so that the new moon can infuse its energy. But I don't want to make my group ritualistic, so I don't go into too much details. That's why I said, if you want to do this with me, you're welcome to. The meditation is really compulsory, so you can pull the group together into renewal. Guys, in every single part of our lives, right? So let's say the natural cycle of the earth is like 28 days, right? 28 days, everything kind of resets with the new moon. It's an opportunity to leave the past behind, but it's also the fact that you got to recognize that stuff accumulates in those 28 days. Like, the world gets to us no matter how much work we do on ourselves. There's stuff in the last 28 days that if I think about, I want to remove. I want to move past that point, and I think everybody feels this way, right? And so it's important that you acknowledge the natural cycle, because, you know, the Gregorian calendar, the one that's 28 days, 31, 30 days, it's not really real. That's a made up calendar. It has nothing to do with the natural cycles of the earth. I am planning to restart the challenge during the new moon tomorrow. This is such a good idea. Okay, to start your challenge if you can during a new moon, and to complete 2 full new cycles with the 60-day challenge. I have people right now that are doing the challenge for I don't know, like 6 times, and, you know, believe me, people will not do something unless they see results. So this tells me that everybody sees results, and it might not be the exact objectives that you put there, but you see results in yourself. Hi everyone, thank you for logging on. Is it a work day in Paris right now, Jasmina? I don't know. In North America it's Labor Day, so there's nobody works today. What do you think is the best protection for astral? I don't do any of that stuff. We're not doing everything in the New Age community. This is a mindset resetting and working with the subtle energies that are naturally available to us to push our life forward. We're not going out there to meet entities, our dead grandmothers. I don't do any of that stuff. You liked my video on stepping out of the masculine? You mean the one on YouTube? I don't know. On YouTube, by the way, guys, I have some playlists, and one of them is meditations. In the playlist meditation, there is the shower ritual that you can do for new moon as well. If you want to honor one thing in terms of rituals, honor the new moon, just because it's a natural cycle of the earth and it puts you in line. But I also have a playlist called The Feminine Queen, and I think I need to do more videos in that playlist. It has to do with how to step into your feminine, how to deal with relationships, breakups, how to attract money from the feminine. And I think I have like 4 videos there, but I need to do more. I'm going to do more, just basically just for women. Let me get to the 2 questions that I have really quickly. Then I want to talk about paradigms. And then while I'm teaching, I do take all your questions, or the questions that are relevant from here. Okay. So one thing that came in our group, it was from a queen in our group. She says, I want to ask how to make sure I'm connected to the group. And then for this queen specifically, I'm not going to name her, but for this queen specifically, she's been in the group for a while. I want to say since last summer. Somebody answered to her and said, I have used to have this concern, and Mona advised me not to worry about it. After a few weeks, I started to see a lot of signs of an obvious connection to the group. I think it is safe to say we are all connected to the group because it is so powerful. The question rather is whether or not you're connecting the dots between what's happening in and around you to what the group is projecting. And this is really key. It's one aspect of it, but the other aspect of it is, what is it in your mind that could prevent your connection to the group? okay? Because I don't think this queen has had the results that she wanted to have. And I want to say, guys, if you're doing something over and over again and you're not getting any result, there's a blockage in your mind. And again, I'm assuming she's doing all the practices. I'm assuming she's scripting every day. If she's not doing that, then the point is mute, right? But if you're doing all of this and you're not seeing results, there's something in your mind that you need to sit and unpack to see what is going on in there. And I have a lot of videos on this. We're going to talk a bit more on this, but this is what is happening. And ultimately, you may have to abandon a method that is really like if after a year you don't feel connected to the group and you're not prepared to do the work to see what's inside your mind that prevents a connection, you might want to go in a different direction. I'm not scared of saying this, right? If it doesn't work for you, I don't want you to waste your time, because I know for a fact everybody can change their lives. Everybody. But it takes a lot, okay? I don't simplify it because it's not easy. And to present it in a simple way, yeah, it's a simple way. Change your mind, change your life. That's basically it, right? The whole life unfolds based on the contents of our mind. But if you don't talk about how hard it is to do it and what steps you need to take to do it and what a dedication you have to yourself and how you have to look at the world and not notice what doesn't work, but instead impose with force and will what you want it to reflect back to you. All of this is constant daily work. And I think like a few queens in our group have had this realization. And, maybe people are joining, for a magical secret. There is no such thing. The magical secret is you got to work on yourself every day. But of course, working with a group that knows what they're doing, with a coach that knows what they're doing, they will tell you step by step what you need to do and where you're at that certain point in time. But there is no magical mantra, guys. There's no magical meditation. There's no meditation that's going to heal you. There's no such thing. You're meditating and you're resetting your nervous system if you are able to allow yourself to surrender to whatever meditation you're doing. It doesn't really matter, as long as the beats are okay, they're in tune with our natural energetic, and there's like 528 hertz. The hertz is okay, the voice of the person speaking is okay. All of this matter, but it's not the meditation that's going to heal you. It's not writing 100 times that you're well that's going to heal you. It's your whole energetic system resetting. And how long does this take? Well, it will go faster. It will go faster if you don't permit the world to rattle you. What are your thoughts on EFT tapping? I think you should do it. Why not? I tap the 369. I am a winner at the end of all our lives. Tapping is a proven scientific way for your nervous system to pay attention to the area that you're tapping. So the idea is when you're tapping, your nervous system is not maybe in fight or flight mode from your crazy thoughts about the world and your obsessive thoughts and your anxiety and all of that. And instead, your nervous system is like, what's happening here? I'm being hit here. So that's what EFT tapping does, really. It just redirects your nervous system. Now, if tapping for 5 minutes is enough to rid you of obsessive thoughts and anxiety, that's great. The only people for whom it wouldn't work is just it's not enough, because the other stimulus is so much greater. That's what EFT tapping is, if anybody was wondering. But it's just because some people are just so stressed out, so anxious. You cannot manifest yourself out of anxiety. You need to have certain practices and realizations that bring you back to understanding that your nervous system has to be in a calm, peaceful, and harmonious state for you to create anything. I don't practice EFT tapping, but I'm sure there's a lot of videos on YouTube that tells you how to do it. They start here, they go here. But there isn't really a sequence. Again, you can make your own sequence. The idea is you want to distract your nervous system from what it's doing now, which is probably being stressed out. That's what it does. And you would practice it before you do a meditation, right? So you'd practice it, you'd tell your nervous system, I need you to focus now. And then you would go into your meditation. That's how you do it. I want to see if I missed anything. So that was the one about the group connection. I want everybody to feel connected to the group, because if you don't feel connected to the group, here's my fear. You're not going to contribute to the group, right? You're not going to contribute. Another tip and trick is If you're not feeling connected to the group, instead of coming to the group and being like, I want to know what I can take from this, just come and give. Come and give. Give a few weeks when you're just giving. When you're just logging on, you're seeing what people post, you comment something positive. You do the meditations and you're not even doing it about yourself. You're doing it for the group. You understand that we're a bunch of, I think we have a couple of men, but let's say we're a bunch of 100 and something women who we all need help. We all need more energy. We all need someone to support us when we knock into the formless substance and we say, hey, acknowledge me, see me, hear me. We all need that, right? So just be that person that pushes somebody else forward with no expectations. Just do that and see what happens in your life. Just join to contribute. Okay. So the other question I had, and I wanted to take this up more like socially, because somebody asked me, my question, I had a conflict with my friends and family. Now I do not have any friends here in New Zealand and thinking about manifesting some. I feel like I do need someone to talk to apart from husband and kids, but I do not want to attract people who sabotage my path I am in right now. I am sure few more people in the group have the same problem. Please let us know how to attract new friends who are genuine and happy for my success. Support me no matter what. I sometimes visualize going to brunch with my friends. I had these kinds of friends in my school bus as I migrate to New Zealand. Okay, so I don't want to read too many details here about where she's from. But basically, listen to the way the question is formulated. I do not want to attract people that sabotage me from my path. Because sometimes the answer is in the question, right? So right away, there's a fear right there. If I let somebody in my life right now who are friends, are they going to redirect me? Because we know like 90% of people, they just live in the world. They just live in 3D. And they're going to look at you with these practices and be like, what the heck are you doing? You got to focus on making money, or you got to focus on whatever 3D focuses on. And so right away, your paradigm, your whatever it is now, it's like, they're going to take something from me. They might be a detriment to me. That's how you're starting when you're thinking of new friends. And then in addition to that, how to attract new friends who are genuine and happy for my success and support me no matter what. Okay? So you're not looking for friends to learn something from them. You're not looking for friends to see how you can contribute to their lives. You're not looking for friends that you just really want people who are genuine and happy for your success and who support you. It's all about you. It's all about the ego. And from this perspective, especially in your adult life, who needs another adult to support? Oh yeah, let me become friends with another woman, so while she's going through whatever she's going through, I will be genuinely happy and support her. I genuinely happy and support all people. But for me to be friends with someone, to give my life energy to someone, the contribution, right? Think about it. Think about how you formulate the question and your expectation from somebody else. So here's what I would say about friends. Number one, yes, it is not easy to make friends as an adult woman who's married with a husband and kids. There's many considerations on, how you really, any friend you have to kind of integrate with your family as well. Because if you're not going to have a friend that you can bring in your home, there's no point to have friends, right? That's how I see it. I'm not looking for any superficial friends. So I think you look for friends that you have something to learn from without taking something from them. And when you see that person, you also want to ask yourself, why would that person be friends with me? How can I contribute to their lives? I'm sure I have something to offer. What is that thing that I have to offer? And then all of those fears about them taking something from you, don't worry about it. You know why? Because if you notice as you develop a friendship with someone that you are feeling drained, that this doesn't feel good, that it's just one more person you have to call, you can just disconnect from that, right? That's the beauty of having adult friendships that you didn't start when you were a kid. You don't have to feel bad. We try something, you go for lunch with another mom from school and see how it feels. See how it's a relationship, like any relationship with another adult. It's got to feel good on both sides. But I would only look for people I have something to learn from them. And then how can I contribute to their lives as well? My two best friends, I have them since high school, so it doesn't count, it's but I would say as an adult, I maybe made like 2 or 3 friendships as an adult. But you don't need 200 friends. I'm talking friends that I would bring in my house. I'm not talking about, you know, work friends, or I'm talking about friends I can call, I can talk to, right? You only need like 3 to 5 of those people, of those women. And then you should look for people like us, like people like this group. We're very supportive of one another. We don't have to be close friends. We don't even have to know everything about each other's lives, but it's a supportive environment. You see my coaching sessions on every other Saturday. By the way, we're going to have one this Saturday. People put their real problems. If you see somebody putting a real problem that they have in their lives and you've gone through something similar, feel free to offer a commentary. I always encourage you to do that. Even if I'm going to take up the question on Saturday. Does that make sense? I don't want to... Okay, nobody's saying anything, so I'm assuming this makes sense. If anybody has a different idea or wants to offer constructive advice in this area, feel free to do that. All right, let's talk about paradigms. This is important. Paradigms, so number one, you got to understand they have to exist. Okay, paradigms are not evil. For you, we're creators, right? We have a smaller capacity than God, than our creator, but we're creators. But we don't have the capacity to create every single happening in our lives. We don't have the capacity, the time frame to react, to think before we react to a certain circumstance. We need to have sort of this instinctual paradigms that we operate on, because otherwise the whole world will be a lot slower, like by a factor of 100. If I have to now stop and think about the next word that comes out of my mouth, this would be a problem, right? I'm sort of unfolding this whole conversation based on an understanding that I have gained about even this conversation is a paradigm in itself. That's what I want you to understand. So you have this paradigms, which is a set of beliefs, a set of assumptions, a set of constraints, if you want to call them that way, that lenses that helps you perceive the world a certain way. Now, your system may have developed these paradigms. They're constantly being developed, but they start in childhood. But you may have developed them as protection mechanisms for you not to repeat the same mistakes, for you to align with certain cultural values maybe that you had in growing up, for you not to disappoint certain people. So, and then also for you to be able to have a fast interaction with the world, right? A fast interaction with the, so you don't want to completely erase your paradigms. You wouldn't be able to create your life step by step. You need these paradigms. These paradigms are the fast computer programs that direct your behavior. But what you need to do is you need to stop and understand what they are. How? With a pen and paper. Not by just thinking about something, then you forget about it. With a pen and paper. If anything, okay, you get a book like this. This is my notes book just for my lives and stuff. But you get a book like this, and you should be able to fill this book over the course of 6 months with everything that you learn about yourself. These are not your affirmations, your meditations. This is like, I know my vision. You can start this book by writing your vision, your ideal life, the 5 pages that we discussed. And after that, title a page, what I learn about myself as I'm going in this direction. And every day, interpret your behavior through the prism of, is it aligned with this life? If not, what paradigm made me react the way I did and gave me a result I didn't want? Even your positive happenings should be interpreted to a paradigm, because that's a paradigm you want to nurture. So if something is happening in a certain area of your life, that's good. You want to stop and analyze. Why is it that here I'm doing well? What paradigms I have? What self-worth makes me achieve this great results in this area? And how can I take that and apply it in areas that kind of don't work? My internet is spotty. Guys, I hope you can hear me. I don't know, I'm in the same spot where I do all my life, so I don't know why it would be spotty. Let me know if you can hear me. I hate like just talking to myself. But these lives will be posted on YouTube. All my Mondays live are posted on YouTube. Okay, thank you for confirming. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit. I made some notes of what I want to talk to you about, paradigms on love and money. And these are sort of the common. I deal with the general ones. Okay, so the paradigms can be grouped into different categories, and I'm going to talk about certain categories. The most obvious ones are limiting beliefs, right? And let's talk about love first. So limiting beliefs in love are, I am not as good as the person who has the love that I want. Okay, the limiting beliefs. Okay. Love requires sacrifice to make it happen. All love ends eventually. A breakup will inevitably happen. These are sort of like some limiting beliefs, general limiting beliefs. And I tell you, if you're a woman, I want you, even if you're a man actually, I want you to go back to that time when you were first forming as a woman. And that time is about the age, do this exercise now with me. The age like 13, I would say 13 to 17 years old, okay? The high school, grade 8 to grade 11 kind of thing. Go in there and see if you had a good relationship or good interaction with the opposite gender or the gender you were interested in. Or if there was somebody in those formative years or a group of other girls that had what you wanted, but you never got what you wanted. This is very important, okay? Because in those years, the paradigms about love get installed. There's two paradigms about love that get installed there. Number one, it would be the paradigm of how somebody is treated, like this ideal relationship that you see. And generally, for the majority of women, they would see those 2 or 3 cheerleaders, very pretty girls, having this wonderful relationships. They all look wonderful from the outside. You don't really know what's going on behind, but you don't understand that at that time. And they have the handsome boyfriend. The boyfriend picks them up in a car. They go to the prom with their boyfriends. They dance. They have this love relationship that you are craving. And every human being is craving to love and to be loved, okay? And the worst thing you could have done in those formative years is either aim for that and be rejected, or pretend that you never wanted that to begin with. And so I want you to go back in your mind and identify if this was the case. Because if this was the case, the paradigm that you have 100% in your head is that love is for other people. Even if you're married later in life, even if you're probably not being valued at the level that you know you should be valued, because you always saw this as something that happens to people who are what you deemed better than you, to women what you deemed better than you. And that's a very, very prevalent paradigm if you weren't that cheerleader. Now, if you were that cheerleader, there would be other problems, right? Because your relationship wasn't perfect and you have other things. But for the majority of women, observing this love that they wanted to have, this connection, this attention from a guy or from, 2 guys, and they never receive that, especially if they pretended that wasn't important, what's going to happen later in life to these women, they're going to pretend in their adult relationships that things are not important, because in their mind they make the association that only the girls who are like that girl would get these things. Okay? So, for example, small things. Oh, he doesn't open the car door for me. Well, it's not important. He doesn't, call me every day. That's not important. So as an adult, you keep telling yourself that the things that are actually important to your being are not important. As a very damaging practice, I want you to be honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with the group, with me. You don't have to tell anybody. Just be honest with yourself. Yes, I have accepted less. Now I need to understand why. Every time you accept something less, you're killing a piece of the spirit within you. The spirit of femininity, the spirit of you wanting to be the ideal feminine in a love relationship, you wanting to love a man that way, but now your guards are up and up and up. Okay, so check for the general limiting beliefs and check for your formative years. Then you might have the scarcity mindset, which you all do for money or love, but I'm sticking with love. Scarcity mindset for love is what they tell you. There's only, what they say, 1%, 2% of men who, are okay looking, make a decent income and would treat you well. And it's scarcity, right? Because what are the odds of you getting that man? And if there's only a small percentage of men like that, then, you know, you getting it, you got to accept something else, right? So it's a scarcity mindset. And I want you to really think about it. So another thing is fear of failure and fear of success. These things are real in your love life, right? So fear of failure, you would avoid deep connections with people because you're afraid it's going to hurt you. Fear of success would be, in which ways would this relationship working out change my life and change my relationship with other people, change my relationship, how many times I can, you know, go out with my friends, how many times I can see my mother, how many times, you know. So fear of failure, fear of success are deeply connected together. Check yourself for that. Self-worth, again, I'm not good enough. I'm damaged by my interaction. I can't change, you know, I'm damaged. And then fixed mindset goes with that as well. Because I have done things a certain way, this is the way I am. This is just the way I am. And if this is the way you are and you don't think you should change, then you can only have more of yesterday. Another thing you have to think about. Cultural, of course, there's all sorts of cultural paradigms. Women must marry by a certain age, or, you know, this ingrained belief in certain culture that as a woman, you have to make a lot of compromises to keep a man. Okay? I actually grew up in a culture like that and with this idea. You have to make compromises. You know, sometimes they come, they're in an angry mood, they don't want to talk to you. You're lucky, you know, he doesn't smash a glass on the floor. You're lucky you have a good man if he doesn't do that. So there's cultural paradigms that are associated, that are in your mind 100% based on the cultural background that you grew up in. Past experiences, of course, past experiences matter immensely, unless you see the past as just information. If you see the past as something that you are, then you'll always be afraid of repeating the same history. Now, I want you to understand that if you see yourself as a person that goes through time and accumulates knowledge and wisdom, you can never repeat the history of the past. There's an easy way to get over this one, okay? I could never make the same mistakes, same interpretations I did when I was 25, because I learned from them. Every mistake is okay. Every loop is not okay. If you're in a loop, same thing happens to you. You haven't grown. You haven't learned whatever lesson you're supposed to learn. So look at your past history and understand it has nothing to do with your future history. And if it repeats in the future, it's because of you. It's the only reason it repeats. And then, you know, we also have paradigms that have to do with validation, right? Your relationship has to be acceptable to others, to your mother, to your friends, to your children, if this is your, you know, if you're divorced. Like, the relationship requires external validation. Now, I told you guys, it's not necessarily that all of these paradigms are bad. The ones I gave in the examples are kind of bad. But you gotta know what they are. You gotta know, is your cultural paradigm very strong? The way you view men in certain cultures. There's men in certain cultures, they would never, ever marry a woman who's older than them, let's say. And if that's your cultural background, you got to understand that you got to work around that specific paradigm, because you would know, like, especially if you grow older in age and you don't like old men, you know, you're still attracted to men closer to your age. If your cultural paradigm is that those guys are looking for women much younger than you, then you'll have this hopelessness inside your heart. That's just a limiting belief. It's a limiting cultural belief. What if you grew up observing an unhealthy dynamic? And we still see it. You see it where? In that couple or in your own life? So if you grew up observing an unhealthy dynamic, there has to come a time when you have to understand that the people who are in that situation, let's say I'm assuming your mother and your father, they were people to whom this happened because of their own conditioning, because of their own paradigm. And you can choose not to be like them, in a sense. I know this sounds cliche, right? But when I look at my mother and the advice she's giving me in my love life in the past, I see that her advice is given through the prism of her experiences. It is not really true practical advice. And she will not even spend the time to understand what I want out of a relationship. She would project what she'd want out of a relationship, and she'd give me advice based on her past experiences and the way her brain is formed. That's the thing, right? So I can understand that. You got to understand that with compassion. You've observed your parents having an unhealthy dynamic. Maybe those are people who are not able to grow in their minds, in their lives. They were not able to understand that behavior is based on conditioning. They were not able to overcome their fears of being alone, and so they stayed together. And this has something to do with just them. It has nothing to do with you or how your future can be. Middle Eastern culture chooses women under 25 for marriage. How to unsee this dynamic? Yeah, especially if you're much older than that. Like if you're 35, I know like a lot of women from that culture become very insecure when they approach around the age of 30, and you can see it. You can see it in them. You know, I had a woman who coached with me, and she said. She was a black woman, and she started the call by saying, the call was about her love life. She wants to get married. She's single. She started by saying, I would only marry a black man. And I don't know if you know this, Mona, but there's no good black man left. So that's how she started the call. And I was like, well, that's just going to be a problem. Right? Because between those two things, like she was never going to get married, right? So I said one of these paradigms has to go. You can keep one if you need to. I would drop both of them. But you can keep only one. You cannot keep both of these if you want to get married. So I'm going to tell you. I think, you know, as a Middle Eastern woman, you'd have to expand your horizons. Okay? Because it's much harder to believe that Middle Eastern men would choose differently than it is to expand your horizons. Now, when you expand your horizons and you go where you're valued and appreciated, you might notice that all those guys from your own culture will start seeking you out. Because now all of a sudden, they know that conditioning doesn't work on you. Like you have other options. And they got to see that. You know what I mean? So think about it. What is easier for you? Is it easier for you to accept? You could be with whoever values you, or is it easier to change your mind about the fact that Middle Eastern men marry 25? Should we forgive our parents if there is a feeling of resentment? 100%. Every religion in this world tells you you have to forgive. The forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. And if you haven't forgiven them yet, it's because you think that forgiveness is something that you give them. And that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is for your heart to be in peace and harmony. You should do everything in your power to forgive everybody who's wronged you, everybody who stole money from you, everybody who cheated on you, your parents, definitely, right? And you don't have to tell them you've forgiven them. You have to really forgive them in your heart, because the forgiveness that you give to them is for you. Is for you. It's not something that you give. And the forgiveness, if you don't do it, like you say, you're full of resentment, you're full of negativity. If you do give them, the way you reason with yourself is, if they weren't monsters, okay? If they were just not great parents. They did what they could with the information and the conditioning they had at the time. A lot of our parents, you know, we're thinking of them as they should have been at a certain level, you know. My mom had me at 23, you know. She was basically, sometimes they grow up with us. You know, they did the best. They emulated motherhood that they learned from their parents. And maybe they added some new infusions to it based on their conditioning and how they felt at the time. But that's all they could do. They're just people. They're just imperfect people. That's how, you know, you reason with yourself and you find a forgiveness into the fact that they didn't know any better. Of course, I'm not talking cases of abuse or something horrendous like this. I'm talking about they didn't give you what you needed. All right, and now I want to talk about money. Is there any more questions about love? I want to talk about this paradigm. It's through the same kind of set of limiting beliefs and things through the prism of how they can manifest money in your money life, in your financial life. Okay, so with money, the limiting beliefs, general limiting beliefs, this is one I grew up with. Money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. It's the cause of every single problem in families, that you really shouldn't have a lot. You should have as much as you need. And this way, nobody will ask you and you'll have to say no. This way, you can always be happy so money is the root of all evil. It just basically, having money will also give you an impulse to say, what experiences am I missing from this life? And you might go towards experiences that you otherwise could not afford, right? So this was a concern, especially with men, with, buying women, buying alcohol, spending basically this money and resources on vices. So you have to find what sort of your childhood instilled money mantras were said to you. Your parents, for sure, said a money mantra to you. For me, it was this: money is the root of all evil. This was it. Another common one is money is very difficult to earn. This wasn't given to me. I was actually told I'm very smart and I will be able to earn a lot of money. But for most people, their parents will say money is very hard to earn. It's very hard. You have to work hard. Money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah. Money doesn't grow on trees. This is the same as you have to work really hard. And of course, we know money grows on trees. It doesn't grow on trees. It grows on computers. When the system decides to infuse more money, they just change the digits. They literally, I promise you, this is how economy works. They just add more. Money is not backed by anything right now. It hasn't been backed by anything for a long time. I want to say over 100 years. It used to be backed by gold. Everybody knows that, yeah? You can only print as much money as you have gold, as a country or as a person. You only got the money out of the bank based on the gold you deposited. That's how the banking system worked. So instead of carrying all that gold with you, you got 2 kilos of gold and they gave you the paper equivalent of it. Now it's money doesn't work that way anymore. It's not backed by countries either. If a country wants to have more money, depending on what the elites decide or whoever, doesn't matter. They just add more numbers to the computer. And so the machine just prints more money. That's how it is. You guys know how it works with loans, right? When they give you a loan, they create money. If I take $1 million loan for my house, and the bank gives me $1 million, puts it in my account so I can buy the house, they only need to have 10%. The bank only needs to have $100,000 in their bank to give me a $1 million loan. So the other 900,000 is fake. It doesn't exist. They didn't have it to give it to me. I want this. There are some economic concepts you have to understand because it will help you with your scarcity mindset. It will help you a lot. Scarcity mindset is there's never enough. I must save and I can't take risks with my savings. That's scarcity mindset. But again, I want you to contemplate every time you get into the scarcity mindset. I want you to contemplate how easy the system creates money. And I want you to contemplate that you deserve a share of that printed money. That's all. It's not a limited supply. It's not anymore. It's an absolutely unlimited supply. You don't need to take from others for you to have. There's always going to be more there because money comes from the source anyways. Not money, but abundance comes from the source. And when it filters down into our 3D reality from the source, it filters down in the form of money because that's how we understand. Fear of failure, fear of success. Fear of failure is, of course, starting a new business, starting a new career. Can you really leave behind what you're doing right now that you hate in order to do what you love? Can you really do it, or are you going to be a massive failure? Fear of failure, fear of success. You worry about the responsibilities that come with wealth. You worry about that. I worry about that in terms of a large lottery win. That's why I'm pretty convinced I'll never have a large lottery win because I'm very aware of this fear. I'm very aware of there will be responsibilities with $50 million that falls upon you overnight. There will be responsibilities for others, responsibilities in managing that. There's a fear of the social implications of that. There's a fear of that. This is probably connected. You see how I'm unpacking myself? That's how you have to do it. With my belief that money is the root of all evil. Even though I know that's not true. But now I'm thinking, am I safe with 50 million, right? Because somebody else wants my money. Am I safe with a large amount of money like that? So this is how I sort of understand, okay, why do I think the way I think? And how can I get around this? Okay, and the way I got around this is, for me, money became something else. It became a tool that allows me to live life on my terms day to day. And I don't know what that amount is. It just depends on what my life is like. I like the way my life is now. I live in a nice house. I drive a nice car. I go on vacations. So I'm thinking it's good. And it will keep continuing. And so I'm not really overriding the paradigm. I'm just learning how to live around it, right? It's much harder to get rid of it than to learn to live around it. Can you remove those fears somehow? Try first to live around them. Try first to redefine what money is. Money is just a tool. Ultimately, why do you want it? I don't want 50 million to sit in my bank. I want the lifestyle that comes. I want a certain lifestyle, and now I'm going to put the money aside. Whatever money I need for that lifestyle, it has to come. So many people, more than 50 million, are walking around. I'm completely aware of that consciously. That there's probably people I know, that I don't know they have that money. Probably people I know. They have different paradigms than me. I would love to get rid of this paradigm. But it's just not on my top priority list right now. 100%. You're 100% right. I consciously understand this 100%. Where was I? So fear of success, fear of failure, self-worth. Self-worth manifests in the form of, if you have a job, accepting a low pay. If you have a business, undercharging for your services or for your products. Being afraid to ask for a raise. You don't feel like you deserve it, or the person who has a raise. Think about the last person who got a raise in your company. How did you compare yourself to them? So that's the self-worth is like, are you really worthy of the money that you would support the lifestyle that you want? Are you worthy of earning it? Mona, after the $20 challenge video, I received it after 3 hours of the video. I think you left a comment to this effect. I just kind of remember something like that, reading it. Somebody's son in our group, she posted it. She found it on the ground. She was walking with her son and they found it on the ground. There's so many comments in there. And that's in that video I talked about how money does grow on trees. Somebody actually left this comment, money doesn't grow on trees or something. And I made this video and I gave a $20 challenge. And so many people got it. Yeah, I have a lot. I'm going to do a lot more of this fun exercises. For me, I don't really want you to sort of like find the money because, that means somebody else lost it. I want the system to create an opportunity for you to get the money, to get, maybe somebody gives it to you willingly. That's okay. But when you find it on the ground, I don't really like that. It's hard to set prices for your products for friends who want to buy. Any thoughts about that? With your friends, you either give it for free or they pay full price. So I'm not sure what business you're in, but this is how I do with my friends. In my Facebook group that we are, how many we are? I think like 180 people or something like this. I only have 2 friends. One pays full price, and one I just gifted it to her because I think she needed the work. She needed to do the work, even though she can definitely afford it or what have you. But I said, I want you to do this work. She wasn't interested. I said, I'm going to put you on the group. I want you to follow along. And then my other friend, she's like, I want to do this work and stuff. Where do I sign up? And I didn't feel like telling her you don't have to pay. I said, here's where you sign up, because it was her interest. Pottery. You're into pottery? No, listen, pottery is you're giving your time, which is your life force, to create something physical. You're actually creating something physical in this world, right? So if you create it to gift it to somebody, that means you're giving them a piece of your life. nobody can get a discount on your life force. Nobody. Don't discount yourself. All right. Cultural around money. It's mostly manifesting in the form of you have to follow a certain path in order to earn money. Right? So we know, like, it's joked about in Asian cultures, is always like, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer, you got to follow a certain path, you got to go to university. Definitely in a lot of cultures this, even though we pretty much know the 3 or 4 billionaires who came through the world in the late 90s, early 2000s, they all dropouts, college dropouts. But you know, the cultural is always like, you got to follow a certain path. So think about it. Are you following a certain path? And what's going to happen if you have to deviate from that path? Or if you already deviated from that path, maybe the message your brain got right away is, you can deviate and you can challenge your parents, but you're not going to be successful. That's the price for deviating from the path. Past experiences. I'm just a bad investor. I don't know enough. Past experiences with money, it has nothing to do with your future experience with money. Past experiences are just past experiences, you know. If you're a bad investor, always spend the time to understand why. Why is it? Did you place a bet? Did you place your money into something that you knew was high risk, that you didn't understand anything about it? Like when I put 10 grand in crypto and then I had 3 grand. Yeah, there's no lesson to learn from that, other than the fact I knew exactly why I was doing that. It's like putting a bet at the blackjack table, right? I don't understand crypto. I just was like, everybody else is making money. Let me put 10 grand and see what happens. Oh my God. So the crypto I put, because I knew somebody who doubled their $50,000 investment in 30 days. They put 50, they took out 100. This was October 2021. That's when I put 10,000. I was like, I'm gonna get 20,000. And just within a couple of months, it kept going lower and lower. And it was like 3 grand for a long time. And maybe 3 months ago, it went to 12 grand. And I was like, but 2,000 is not enough of a return for 3 years of investment. So I'm gonna wait until it's 20 grand. And now it's like 7 grand. It's just like, but it's just a bet, right? So whatever it is that you put your money in, if you knew you were doing it blindly, then you have to face the consequences and just forgive yourself. It was just, you know, I don't sell at a loss. So, you know, don't gamble with money that you need to pay your rent. I don't sell. Like, I'll probably never be a seller unless it hits 20 grand, because that's what I told myself. But it might go to 0, who knows? If you invested in stocks, if you invested in real estate and you lost money, you really have to educate yourself as to where you made the mistake. Maybe you thought the renovations would cost a lot less than they did. Why did you think that? What is it in? Do you know what I mean? Like, financial lessons are 3D lessons. You need to understand. You have to be money savvy in this world. Okay? Like, you can welcome large amounts of income, large amounts of return, but if you don't know what to do with it, it's better not to do maybe anything with it until you have at least a basic education in investing. Unless you understand you're gambling it, like me with crypto, and you're willing to take the consequences for that. And then validation. Pressure to make money for the wrong reasons. Money has to be tied to a certain lifestyle that you want, or it's not the right reason to making it. If you need to make it because your parents want to be proud of you, but really you're just an artist who is fine living with very little because you want to do your art. What is this? Oh, I have to validate my life. Hold on a second, guys. The TikTok wants me to do some squares here. Okay. So what you need to take from this: life unfolds on paradigms unless you give it a clear direction and you, in awareness, are moving in that direction. Every step of the way that's not going in that direction is a paradigm you need to identify and you need to address. Either work around it or erase. Work around it or erase. And so I told you, get a book like this. First 5 pages, make it about the life you want. And afterwards, me. Things I'm learning about myself as I'm moving in this direction. And this is different than the 60-day challenge. In the 60-day challenge, keep the purity of doing exactly what the whole group is doing, which is the affirmations, the dreams, the images. By the way, check with your life and images in the 60-day challenge, and those ones that came true, just get rid of them, or the ones you no longer want, replace them. You should be doing this on a regular basis. So for example, I had a beautiful photo of a couple, like a bride and a groom. I just took that off this morning because I already got married as a result of doing the challenge, right? So whatever came true already, just get rid of it and replace it. Make sure you always have new things to give your brain that you're going in that direction of your dreams. Do you guys have any other questions? Remember, the group is manifesting, and even if you're not part of the group, you can try this to see if you want to be part of the group. We're manifesting a moon in our lives, in our physical lives. The moon can be any shape, but it cannot be digital. So it cannot be on the phone, computer, TV, and it cannot be the actual moon in the sky. You have to see a moon-like object in your real life this week. On Saturday, we have the coaching. This is a private coaching I do for my group. People leave their actual problems in the thread there, and I address them on Saturday. It's for people who can't really afford the one-on-one. So I don't mind addressing all of those. That will be Saturday at 1 o'clock. And then today is a new moon fasting and meditation. So I haven't eaten anything today because I'm getting a little dizzy right now, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to make it. I have more water. And I want to make it, because look, fasting, why is it important? Other than the fact that your body shouldn't be busy digesting when you're doing an important reset and meditation. Other than that, it's the fact that you have to conquer the body. Because if you can't conquer the body, conquering the mind is impossible. I would say it would be impossible. The body is much easier to control than the mind. It's much easier to skip a meal than to control your thoughts and to have no thoughts during a meditation. Would you have to agree with that? So if you can't even fast, if you can't even tell your body to do a certain thing at a certain time, and the body's commanding you to do something else, what do you think the mind's going to do? What do you think these paradigms are going to do to you? You are not the paradigms, and you are not the body. You are the spirit that animates the body. You're the spirit that has the desires that you have and who wants the life that you have, because it was probably destined to live that life, but you've been caught up in this 3D, in these paradigms. So one quick way to see if you're close to conquering your mind, see if you can fast. If you can't make it, it's not a good sign. All right, guys, I'll do the ETF, tapping. I am a winner 369 times. And then I will see you guys, whoever's in my group, on the Saturday coaching. One breath. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.